So good afternoon, how's everyone doing? Good? Awesome, awesome. So like Brian said, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also a motivational speaker and content creator. Love creating content, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But I just want to thank you guys all for being here. I know when Brian mentioned, he asked me to be a part of this project in November, and anyone who knows who I am, I'm always doing multiple things. I'm always freaking out. And he asked me to be a part of this project, and what did I tell you? I was like, I can't. I don't have time, right? We always say that, we don't have time. And we meet every Sunday, like he said, to develop his online course. And finally, before the deadline, I made the decision to be a part of this project. And I have to say, I'm super honored and proud, because if I had not said yes, I would have missed out on this amazing opportunity, right? So with that being said, just thank you guys all so much for being here today. I think it means a lot to us, every speaker who has been a part of this project, that you guys came out to show your support. I'm going to kind of talk about content creation, but I don't want to really spend time talking about who I am and what I do. I think you guys can kind of follow me on social media. But before I do that, I want to ask you guys a simple question, okay? What is your most valuable commodity? Can anyone answer that question for me? What is your time? Who said that? Time. See, time is elusive, right? It waits for no one. Time is like life's currency. See, once you spend it, you cannot get it back, right? We all want more of it, but we can't get more of it, so what do? We like to conserve it. And so you're probably asking yourself, well, what does my most valuable commodity, time, have anything to do with online courses? Well, it's the selling point in which your consumers decide that what you're selling, the time that they're saving, right, to learn a certain skill or master a certain topic, I would say, in the shortest amount of time, right, is worth a pretty penny. See, your blueprint is actually their time saver. Do you guys catch that? Yes. Your blueprint is their time saver, okay? So what you're really selling is a shortcut to an outcome. And you have to understand that Amazon understood this, Netflix understood this, Uber understood this, yes? They understood their consumers' value on time. And so whether you're creating a course or whether you're creating a product or service, you have to understand that that's really what we're selling in this day and age, right? In 2019, we always want things what? Quick, quick, quick. Microwave society, yes? And so in 2017, I want you guys to understand that online courses sold over $46 billion. $46 billion. Raise your hand if you would like a piece of that pie. Everyone's hand should be up, right? $46 billion is enough piece of the pie to go around for everyone. And so what you have to understand is what you are selling, right? And Brian and I, this is kind of funny because we work every single Sunday together, so a lot of things we go over, sometimes I end up saying. And once you understand what you're selling, just not your knowledge, but your time, you can then focus on your unique selling proposition. Okay, and I want you to repeat after me. What in the world do I know?
What in the world do I know?
Come on, louder. What in the world do I know? That other people are dying to know.
That other people are dying to know.
And are willing to pay a premium price to learn it.
And are willing to pay a premium price to learn it.
You see how I did that? Because you have to understand that what you're selling, if you're not fulfilling a big enough need, if you're not hitting that immediate pain point, you're gonna have a really hard time selling that product or service. Or in this case, your online course. And so I'm going to keep it really simple. She said, keep it simple, right? K-I-S-S and stupid. I'm going to give you guys 3 tips that you guys can take away, because let's be honest, online course creation, it's very in-depth. That's why people hire me to create their curriculums and online courses. But a lot of times people don't even know how to just get started. So if I can give you guys 3 tips on getting started, then we can be in a better place, right, for your business. So I want to give you guys value. So and I'm a former teacher too, so if you guys haven't noticed, I like to give it in 3 steps as well. So tip number 1, identify your market. Repeat after me, identify your market.
Identify your market.
You have to know who you're selling to. And I believe some of the speakers mentioned that today. Who are you selling to? What need are you going to fulfill, right? You have to find a gap. And that's the way where you really are able to kind of take over in that industry, right? And so once you understand who your market is, and I think someone mentioned it earlier, you really want to make sure that it's not about, oh, everybody's my market. There's a saying that goes, see, if you try to be everything to everyone, you become nothing to no one, right? So niche it down. Who is your market, right? Because everybody doesn't need your products and services,
Right.
yes?
Right.
Number 2 is find a solution to a problem. Repeat after me. Find a solution to a problem.
Find a solution to a problem.
What solution are you coming up with that is going to hit that market's immediate pain point? Okay? And I came up with this week. I was kind of proud of myself, I have to say. But it has to be a no-brainer decision. Think about a time when you walk in the store. Like, I don't shop often, but when I do shop, if I walk in the store and I see something, I'm like, that's on me. That's me all day. I don't have to try it on, that's me, right? Or you walk into a restaurant, you already know what you're gonna order. That's what you want people to have when they see the topic. Someone just went over the topics, Aurora, of your courses. Once they see that topic of your course, oh, I gotta have that, right? I gotta get that course. I need that to help me scale or get to that next stage of my business. And so you want to have that immediate decision making, okay? Number 3, you guys, is evaluate the outcome, okay? You have to, as some of you guys not might be like background, have your background in education, okay? But we're all teachers. Every single speaker in this room, we're all teachers, right? We just teach at a different level. And so as a teacher, they teach us to start with the end goal in mind, right? You kind of have to reverse engineer. You have to see where your learners are going to go so you can get them there, yes? Okay, so you're transitioning them, you're seeing the transition, you're seeing the transformation, and it's very important that you start with that end goal, but you also want to over-deliver, okay? Over-deliver in value is very important because what happens when you over-deliver?
They want more.
They want more, and they do what? They come back again and again. But what happens when you under-deliver? They're gone, right? And so you want to, exactly, you want to always over-deliver. You guys, 3 easy steps. Identify your target market, find a solution to a problem, okay? And then evaluate the outcome. Some of you guys are probably wondering, and I know Brian kind of pumped me up a little bit, but honestly, you guys, I fell into curriculum and online course development. Like I said before, I'm an entrepreneur. One of my very first businesses was a tutoring company. I'm a former teacher. And someone mentioned earlier too about being laid off. Raise your hand if you've been laid off. Okay, so I was laid off 4 times within a 4-year period. Okay, my first year teaching, laid off, brought back. Second year, laid off, brought back. Third, repeat the process 4 times. Finally, in 2010, I was like, man, I had enough. I went to school, 2 teaching credentials, right? A master's degree in education, and I still lost my job. So I decided to open up my own business. Actually, I was a reporter for a year for the Beverly Hills Courier newspaper, and then I was laid off. So that's 5, right? Wow, I'm telling you guys. I had the worst luck, but I feel like it was God trying to push me towards my purpose, yes? And even during that time, and I don't have time for this, but I was going through some medical challenges, and I've had surgeries, and that's a whole nother story. But during that time, that's when I was finding my purpose. So I opened up my tutoring company, and I started from the bottom. Okay, I was tutoring kids out of my home. Within a few years, I opened up my brick and mortar location, and I realized, you know what? I want to be different than my competitors. Like, my company's not a Kumon, it's not a Sylvan Learning Center. What can I do differently, right? You have to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So I decided just to do some research and walk into local high schools. I did my research because I understood what need that they wanted to fulfill. Mentoring for kids, right? The graduation rates were like decreasing. So I walked into a local high school, I always remember, thought I did my research, and I walked in and I asked, may I speak to so-and-so? Oh, he's not here. Oh, he's not working today. No, he's not the principal at this school. Well, isn't this Jordan Plus High School? No, this is Beach High School. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, And as I'm walking out, the principal overheard, he said, wait, hold on, come on back. What were you going to sell that other principal? Because I want to know what that is. He said, come and have a seat. So I took a seat and I said, well, you know what? I want to offer mentoring services for your students. And he said, you know what? We would really like that. So we started doing mentoring. I actually at the time had a partnership with the local university, Cal State Long Beach, still do to this day. And I would have my staff go on campus and do mentoring. Where after a few weeks, I asked my staff, well, how's everything going? And they said, it's not going the way we anticipated. instead of us doing the pull-out sessions, one-on-one mentoring, they're actually using us as teachers aides.
Wow.
And that's not what we, intended to do, right? So one of my interns said something to me. She said, you know what, Dupé? If you created a curriculum, something more structured, and we came back next year, I think they would take us a lot more seriously. So I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. I didn't know how to create a curriculum, but I was a former teacher, so I figured out, I'll figure it out, right? It can't be that hard. And I created the curriculum, and I went to the principal action. I said, if I created this curriculum, would you guys implement it? He said, you know what, which is the smart thing that principals do. You have to ask the staff, right? Because they're the ones having to implement it. So he gave me 7 minutes to pitch my idea. We talked about pitches. I had literally 7 minutes to pitch at a faculty meeting, 50 teachers. And I kept it simple. I was like, what do you guys want? College and career readiness or goal setting? And they said, oh, well, we already have like 2 or 3 programs on college and career readiness. And at the time, it was 2010, I'm a new entrepreneur, and I read Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, watched the movie The Secret, right? How many of you guys have read all that and watched that? So I was super into the whole goal setting thing, right? And they said goal setting. And I said, great, because that's what I really wanted to create it on. And then my next question was, well, if I created a goal setting curriculum, what would you guys like to see inside that curriculum? See, it's very important that you ask the right questions. And then they started to shout out time management, keeping track of your school credits, right? Mock interviews. Guess what became the modules of my course? There's suggestions, every single one. I didn't come up with not one on my own, right? And so I went back, wrote my curriculum that summer, a week before school started. And mind you, the principal was like, you know what, we don't have money to, because that's what they're gonna tell you. We don't have money to fund this. We don't have any money. And at that time, I was still a new entrepreneur. I just wanted that partnership. I wasn't really looking for that financial support. Went back the week before school started, handed him that 90-page curriculum, and 90 pages, that's all her eyes, like, whoa. And he's flipping through it, and he said, can you hold on for a moment? And he walks out of the room and comes back, and he's flipping through a piece of paper, and he's circling stuff and crossing things out, and I'm thinking, is he really working while I'm like pitching? Like, what's going on? And after a while, he circles something, he pushes it to me. He's like, would this be sufficient enough to fund your program? And I'm telling you, people don't have money until they see what you can bring to the table. You get what I'm saying? And so all of a sudden, my program's being funded 5 figures, never even had any idea that was going to happen. And it went on to be funded for 5 years. We're still within Long Beach Unified School District, LAUSD. We have implemented my curriculums. Teachers all across the country has purchased it. And so I figured out a niche, something different. I'm different than Sylvan and Kumon because I do curriculum and online course development, right? The very next year, because again, I'm this creative, like if I have an idea, I go with it. I wanted to make a show for kids. It was crazy. We actually did a crowdfunding. My brother at the time owned a production company, flew people in. I mean, it was like a big production. And we created 12 episodes. It was a web series called The Cookbook Nutrition, or The Cookbook actually. After a week of it just kind of going, like we did e-blasts and stuff like that, someone contacted me from our local city department, the Long Beach Health Department, and said, wow, this is cool. Can you create a curriculum around cooking for kids? And that's how my second curriculum was born just a year later after that. Now after that, and it was funded and implemented for 2 years. I mean, I would hire my chefs, we would go in and do live cooking demos. But after the second time, I'm like, maybe this is something that I should do for a living, right? And so then, who mentioned Periscope? Someone mentioned Periscope earlier. Someone mentioned Periscope? Okay, Dr. Will. So Dr. Will and I both, we were on Periscope when it first launched, and I was always showing off my curriculum and everybody, and this is before it became popular, like now everybody wants to do an online course, and everyone would ask me, Dupé, how do I create my online course? How do I create my curriculum? And that's what led me to help day-to-day entrepreneurs such as yourself, teachers, speakers, authors, coaches, health and wellness enthusiasts, podcast hosts, I mean, you name it, the infrastructure is the same. You get what I'm saying? It's just coming up with a catchy topic, title, and understanding who your target audience is and what problem you're going to solve. So I just wanted to kind of share that story with you guys to kind of tell you that, sometimes you have an idea, but someone else mentioned earlier, sometimes someone else places that idea inside your head. If my intern did not tell me hey, you know what? You should kind of come up with a curriculum. I wouldn't be a curriculum and online course developer. Do you get what I'm saying? And so sometimes people can point out your natural gifts and talents and it can just kind of take off. Yes? So I just want to thank you guys for your time, and I just want to tell you, if you have any questions, Brian, I would like to use, you know how we're doing a little 5, just to do a little Q&A, because a lot of people have some questions around curriculum and online course development. I would love to answer them. Yes?
Okay, so when you say that you work with people who want to develop a course,
Yes.
so hypothetically,
Yeah.
I have a hot topic,
Okay.
and I get in touch with you, and you would help me develop that course?
Okay, let's back up a little bit, okay? So I used to do a lot of the curriculum writing. Like I'm helping Brian, we've been working since, gosh, I feel like before November. It's been a minute.
I was in kindergarten.
So we've been working every Sunday for the last few months. I'm finishing up another curriculum for one of my friends. It's a lot of time. I own 3 businesses and I'm a speaker. I speak about 2 to 3 times a month. So for me, I kind of took a step back doing the curriculum writing, but I do have a course online that teaches you how to create your online course, and then I do consulting. And so someone like Brian makes it easy because you guys don't understand, this dude's a beast at writing. I mean, he can just write, you know? So it makes it easy because then I can kind of go in and edit and say, no, this is how you need to say it and word it. Some people just don't even have that capability, and that's when I have to do all the work. Don't have the time to do that anymore. So it just depends on your skill set and how we can kind of collaborate and get that done. Yeah, let's talk more.
All right.
Yes.
Hi. First of all, thank you for your energy. I love it.
Oh, sorry. I'm trying to bump myself up too, man. Sorry. It's Saturday.
What is your thought on creating your course through platforms like Teachable or Udemy? Or should someone do it on their own?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So Udemy is a marketplace. So that's a place where you actually can go sell your course. The thing about Udemy is they're going to take a percentage, yes? Right. Yeah. So Teachable and Thinkific's the course site that I use. Those are course site platforms. That's where you kind of build your course. And you can sell it, but they take like a small percentage. So I would honestly, I know I feel like a trader right now. Kajabi's probably one of the best platforms. I don't use it yet because when I wanted to transfer things over, and here's another thing, if you're gonna create a course, make sure you save everything. Like for instance, Thinkific allows you to do voice overlays. Don't do that. Do it on like a device so you save it, because what happens is if you switch platforms, you're gonna have to re-record all that information. Does that make sense? Yeah.
They keep it.
Exactly, it's on their site. So I made the mistake of doing the voice overlays directly on their platform rather than doing it on another device, so now you have to redo it for the other course platform. So just make sure that you record all of your videos and you have all of your voice recordings on your own external hardware, so then you can move to and from sites.
I'm just, I have a question. So how is it that it's your intellectual property, but you don't get to carry that with you?
No, you can, but I'm just saying, see, this is where it's kind of confusing, Brian, because online, like course curriculum, that's really what I do,
right.
The actual teaching, right? Yes? When you put everything like the curriculum into an online course platform, they call it interactive media resources. So the PDFs, the downloadable content, the videos, the audio, talking head videos, those all tie in to the curriculum. So they host the platform. You still own the rights to your content, but it's on their servers. Does that make sense? You can do it on your own website, but it's gonna be a lot, you know, the softwares and stuff. It's just not worth it. Because they have like all the payment gateways. I mean, they take care of everything, so why reinvent the wheel? Yes? Yeah.
Can you repeat the name of the website you said?
Kajabi.
Kajabi.
So how is it? Kaijabi? Yeah. And then Thinkific is the one that I use, which I really like. I'm gonna try Kajabi. I know the founders, and they've been telling me like, come try our platform. So I will try it. I just haven't had time. Any other questions? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
One thing I want to say while Dupe up here is that you really are a teacher, aren't you? So, and she actually teaches, you know how you like work with some people and they just like, oh yeah, you know, I'll just do it, but they don't really explain. Like, she takes the time to explain even that whole conversation. Like, we spent like the first 30 minutes of our first thing talking about, no, this is a course, this is curriculum, this is a platform, like, but it's important to understand because we just kind of throw out these terms, and when we're trying to get stuff done, it doesn't translate. So, thank you so much.
No, thank
That was
you. You're
awesome.
awesome. Thank you, Brian.